In this video, I'm going to talk about the red light, green light, moving average strategy. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, so this red light, green light, moving average strategy came from this book, Pitbull by Marty Schwartz. Great book. If you haven't read it, thoroughly recommend it. A story about Marty Schwartz going from the pit to kind of electronic trading. Really, really good. This is real world trading, guys. You know, he's setting his own strategies, he's doing his thing, and he's making some money out of it. Very, very good. Anyway, in that book, he mentions this strategy, which he calls the red light, green light. Now, I'm sure he's just simplifying it for the book, and we've got to be careful that we're adding silly names to things, but it just makes perfect sense in terms of how he's labeling it. He basically says he will have a green light if the price is greater than the 10-day EMA. He will have a red light if price is less than the 10-day EMA. What does that mean? When he has a green light, he will only be looking for buys. In other words, you know, price is moving, chugging along, the moving average is coming up behind it, your 10 days coming up behind it. Whilst that is above that area, we've got this area above here, however thick that may be, even if it's just a point, doesn't matter. He is saying, you know what, I'm allocating a green light to that and I will look for buys. And that makes perfect sense. When you're in a trending environment, you want to be, number one, aligning yourself with the trend. And having this very simple structure stops you chasing shorts. And if you are going to chase shorts, at least you know it. Let's say you even think that this market is well overvalued, it's been going on forever, I want to get short. At least you can wait for it to prove itself first. So you can wait for it to come back under, give you a red light signal, and then we're not saying blindly going short or long when you get a green light, red light. I'm sure that's not what he does. However, now the red light is activated and you want to look for a short, you're then going to look for, you know, your pullback, your double top within a pullback, whatever it may be. You feel a bit more comfortable because you're under the 10-day. And believe me, you know, if a guy who's made an awful lot of money trading, just literally grinding away, working out his own strategy in front of the screen, you know, comes out with something as simple as this that's worked for him, it's well worth thinking of something similar yourself. Now, does it have to be a 10 period? In his case, it was. Could it be a 20? Could it be a 5? You know, a 5 is very aggressive. If price is moving very, very strongly, then the 5, and my 5 is always coloured in red, so let's do it in red, is always running very, very tight to the trade. And I do know a lot of traders who will look for this explosive kind of move on the 5 period, wait, and literally ride that for as long as it stays above the 5. It's a very simple strategy. You're trying to see it go, and that could be your green light. You'll say, listen, I'm in. While it's above it, I'm staying in. And you just hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. First close below it, or whichever way you're trading it, you are out of the position. Okay, so the point is, guys, with this, for you or I, how do we use this for our own trading? Now, you could go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to use exactly the same thing. I'm going to use a 10 period. I'm going to use red light, green light strategy. I would say if you can find something that works on, great. The best thing to do with this is to say, can I find a stock or a market that is respecting this 10-day generally, so I can use the rule based on the evidence I've seen, rather than trying to enforce the rule onto something where you've looked at the evidence and actually it very often flicks under the 10, pings back up, doesn't respect it. If you look at a chart and you say, hey, you know what, actually, that is respecting this 10-day, or it's respecting a 15 or a 20 or a 5, whatever it may be, I will then use that rule while we're in this zone of it working. And that's exactly what's happening with Marty Schwartz. He was using this kind of very simple filter process and it was working beautifully for him. I think it was on the S&P 500. He was trading a couple of other products, but it was mainly focused on the S&P. And while the price was behaving as he expected, he just allocated a rule based on what he saw on the charts. And that's the point, guys. The point is to look at the chart and to say, what is the rule? We could be talking about stochastic here. We could be talking about any indicator. But the key with indicators is that instead of just coming up with the idea and forcing it on the chart, is to look at the chart, let the chart tell you what it's doing, and then find a rule that works with the environment you're in. And if you can do that, the best thing you can do is to do that, to eliminate your losing trades. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to obviously maximize your winners, but not get on the side of losers. Perhaps, it's been a while since I read that book, but perhaps he did this because he was trying to go short too early in the uptrend and he wasn't waiting for it to turn around. Perhaps it was just a reminder to him to say, listen, it doesn't matter how far this thing's gone. If it's above the 10, I'm still going to keep my eye on buy side trades only. Perfect thing to do. Recommend any kind of filter, basic, simple filter for your trading, just to get rid of, just to bring the boundaries in. Talked about this before in other videos, guys. If you can subscribe, you'll know about this. If you haven't yet, consider doing so. It's just bringing the boundaries in on your trading bit by bit until you're laser focused on one strategy, one approach, and waiting for that 1 or 2 sweet trades that are going to make you the money and build your account nicely. All right, guys, stay tuned for the next one. See you soon. Bye-bye.